you know what to fix before selling your house? So as you can probably tell from the title of this video, it is geared toward my sellers. I've done an entire range of videos on the topic of how best to sell your home. You can check out that playlist. But for now, let's talk about the must-do repairs before selling your house. I should say preparing your house to sell is a multi-step process. It may involve some repairs, it may involve some staging and some other presentation. This video is specifically about the repairs. The reason why we want to make sure that the house is move-in ready is that today more buyers than ever are not willing to accept a house that needs a bit of work. The old, like, let's buy a fixer-upper, it's just not really what buyers are doing today. In fact, our younger buyers, 67% of them refuse to buy anything that's not move-in ready. So let's start at the top with the roof. So number one thing that you should fix before selling your house is the roof. If you know that you have a roof leak, you know that you have an issue, I highly recommend, if you're in a position to do so, replace the roof. Just get it done. Generally speaking, there's going to be a transferable warranty that's going to go to the buyer. And in terms of the money that you spend to replace the roof, you'll get 90+% of that back in terms of the purchase price. Some renovations, you don't really get much of a return. A roof is absolutely a great investment when you're selling your house. Okay, so number two, it's also a big ticket item. It's pretty specific to my market here in Boca Raton. If you are on the waterfront, there is going to be a seawall, which is a little bit like a retaining wall that holds the water out and the land in. This is another big ticket item that can cost over $100,000 for a seawall. Then you have on top of it the dockage and a number of other factors. I highly recommend checking it out if you have an issue with your seawall, getting an inspection report and understanding what's the nature of the problems you have. And if you're in a position to do so, make sure that seawall is in tip-top shape. Okay, next on the list, it relates to every single market under the sun, and that's plumbing. So here in Florida, you know, our average build age is probably newer than some parts of the country. You may have a 100-year-old house. Find out what the deal killers are in your market as they relate to plumbing and make sure you don't have any of them. In our market, it may be corroded cast iron plumbing under the house. It could be polybutylene plumbing if it is a newer build. Find out what's like the deal killer, make sure you don't have it. The exact same thing goes for electrical, which is next on our list. Electrical problems are huge. There's something like 51,000 electrical fires per year. It is a big concern for buyers buying a house if they have some sort of an electrical problem in the house. In our marketplace, we have some recalled breaker panels from a company called Federal Pacific. That's like a whole deal in and of itself. In your market, it might be something else, cloth wiring, you know, fuse boxes instead of breaker boxes, etc. Talk with your real estate agent and figure out what are the biggest electrical deal breakers and make sure you don't have any of those in your house. If you do, get them handled. Next on the list is HVAC. So what does HVAC stand for anyway? Well, I'm so glad you asked. Heating, ventilation, and air conditioning, HVAC. Here in Florida, it's really important because we have such a humid environment. If a house isn't properly ventilated, HVAC is not working well, you could develop, you know, some moisture problems. It's a big issue. HVAC are high ticket repairs. You want to make sure that all those systems are working well. And that brings me to number 6 on the list, what I like to refer to as the M word. So here in Florida, we do not like to use the word mold. People get really antsy-pantsy. They actually would prefer the word moist, and most people really don't like that word at all. So we want to make sure when we walk into the house, we don't smell, you know, that mildewy smell, the smell like the house has been closed up for a long time. It may or may not be indicative of a mold issue, but you really don't want to plant that seed in a buyer's mind. So definitely, if you have any reason to believe that there may be mold, absolutely get a moisture test and figure out if you have a problem and remediate if you do. And the final item on the list, number 7, is, I'm going to call it the small stuff. You may have heard the saying, don't sweat the small stuff. In this case, I'm going to just disagree with those people. You see, when there are small problems in a house, really minor stuff like scuffs on walls, maybe you have like some loose switch plate covers, a GFCI outlet that's not working, light fixtures, etc., the buyer's mind starts wandering, and you absolutely do not want a buyer making assumptions about the way you've maintained your house based on a few like small items. It's something like, like a switch plate. There you go, it's like 99 cents. Replace it, fix it. So all those little repairs, you just want to avoid the buyer going somewhere crazy in their mind, making assumptions. So the big ticket items, why you want to handle those is because you're going to have to disclose them anyway. Any known defects, you can't really get around that, nor should you want to, but you have to disclose all the major problems. And the small ones, you don't want the buyer's imagination getting the best of them. So I do have one other pro tip for you. If you really want to get ahead of the game, have your house professionally inspected before you put it on the market. You can use that inspection sort of as a checklist for all the things that you should do about your specific property. And then when you put it on the market, you can even have a re-inspection and provide that to prospective buyers and say, listen, house is tip-top shape. We've had it completely inspected. You're buying something that's perfect and move-in ready. Most buyers are going to have a lot of peace of mind and in the end be willing to pay more money for your house. And that would be a good thing, right? So I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope you found it useful. If there's something specific in the world of real estate you've been wondering about, please don't be shy and reach out. I only work in Boca Raton, but I have resources all over the country. I'm happy to put you in touch with another agent if that's appropriate, or just answer your questions. So go down to the comments and say hello. I promise to respond to all of them. My Instagram handle is @Rochelle.TV. We put together some really fun content, in my opinion, property tours and other good stuff. So please give us a follow. A couple more videos, of course, in this series are about staging your home and some questions you can ask when interviewing a real estate agent. You can see those videos up and over here. So I really appreciate you joining me for this video. I'm Rochelle.TV, bringing you the very best of Boca Raton luxury real estate. See you next time.